Hey, coming up on episode 175, are the major automakers pulling the plug on EVs? How about a good old Asian automotive company that's been reliable to the ends of the world, how they're trying to survive and the unique ways they are doing so? We want to share some information about car wash activities and thereafter. And everybody, we just want to share with you that there is a little humanity within this podcast, and we're going to share that with you as well. All of those things coming up on today's podcast right after this. Hey, everybody, welcome into the podcast. Say hello to my friend, Keith. What's up, buddy?
What's going on? Hi, everyone. Hello, Jay.
Man,
first time for everything, Jay.
Back. 175
of these. And I'm drinking coffee. I've never drunked coffee.
We've not
on a
done
podcast that we've done
a
before.
morning one. We've not done a morning show. Maybe we should.
Well, as we're recording this, it's
we
morning.
can call it the morning show. How about that?
Yeah, that's a great idea. Let's put it on Apple TV. Wait.
Yeah, no doubt.
Womp.
So we got some good topics today, and what I think is funny. Yeah.
Hey, I got my sound drops back, by the way, everybody.
No doubt. Yes, I was
You were
just saying that we have an interesting show today because it gives us the opportunity to kind of go back to the well of, well, I hate to say I told you so.
I hate to say I told you so.
There, I had that
We
one
have
ready
no
for
crystal
you.
balls.
I do.
Do you
it's in
have
the closet.
one? Oh,
Do you
that's
need me to
right.
go get it?
We did look into the crystal ball at one point.
Yeah, I can go get it.
Is that the same one that Ed McMahon used on?
Right, Karnak. Yeah. No, I think this one's a little bit smaller.
All right. Did you get it off Amazon?
Yeah, using our link, of course.
That's fun. Ooh,
I went
we
to
got commission.
I went to partscounterguru.com and clicked on the Amazon show specials and then the Amazon tab. And
Which, speaking of that, you can do the same thing, listeners. Please make sure you do that. Take a ride by our website at partscounterguru.com and click on the show specials, and you'll see all of our friends. Also, you can click on the Amazon link, take you over there, go shopping, and every little bit helps us. So, that's not the only thing that helps us, right, Keith? What else helps us?
That's true. Yeah. Well, we got a YouTube channel. We got you could tell a friend, you could subscribe. 175 of these later, and I still haven't remembered that I need to be telling people who we are and what we do at the near the beginning. So, hey everybody, welcome in. If this is your first one, Jay's freshly back from the Floribama line. And this is a podcast called The Counter Show that features mobility-centric topics, usually or sometimes in the automotive industry, scooters, bikes, whatever, and always some pop culture mixed in. Today will be no different. We do get, if you like different, we got some different stuff over on the YouTube side. Again, youtube.com/partscountergurus, and you can check that out. There's DIY stuff, there's reviews, there's car reviews, there's camping stuff, there's electronics reviews, there's Jay showing you how to change the seat panel on was it a Hyundai or a Kia?
Same thing.
Yeah. And there's always controversy, as exemplified by that statement in these. So, yeah, there you are. That's it. That's
and
that's
much,
who we are.
Much more, guys. It just doesn't end there. We're the gift that keeps on giving. So go ahead and subscribe for that gift, and it's free to you, but it's priceless to us. So there you go. So yeah, we have an interesting show today, and again, life happens so quickly, and just like that, we're 7 years into the so-called California EV mandate, where all vehicles were going to be electric by the year 2030 in the state. They weren't going to sell any gas engines. Is that right?
I think so. Are you telling me that it was 7 years ago that they made that proclamation?
Yep.
Are you
serious?
Yeah,
it was right when we started podcasting. We really started to find a groove when we jumped on talking about that, and how, just to me, outlandish the old idea sounded as someone being a veteran of the automotive industry and seeing the potential for the loss of jobs because of it, based on people's ideas. But that was all, again, it was nobody's lost their jobs. If anything, there's been some creation of new ones. But what we've seen is, if you want to talk about losses in the industry, I would say that CEOs and marketing groups of those companies are probably looking at each other going, dadgummit, man, I wish I had that one back.
I hate to say I told you so.
It is. I don't think I'm being an armchair quarterback. I mean, okay, a little bit, but there's a certain amount of experience that, and I try to not be boastful, that we frequently cover on this very program, where we say things are a bad idea, and then we lay out the reasons why. And man, the track record of us kind of going, yeah, here's why this is why you should listen, everybody, because we are always backing up our opinions with kind of historical experience, right? So, and this was no different. Like, I'm reminded as you're laying this out of all the reasons that we laid out at the time of why this was not the right way to do this. It's not that we hate EVs or hydrogen vehicles or whatever. It's just that historically speaking, you don't ever just come out and go, all right, well, we're yanking the Band-Aid off, everybody, and it's going to be completely different in 7 years. Nah, that's there's a million reasons why that'll never work.
Right. Exactly. And, we think in practical, we have a practical mindset, right? We understand what the automotive industry actually is to us as a world. I mean, it basically has created a clear path to commerce. And when you start chopping into the ways that have been proven to work, people don't like that. You start messing with them a little bit, it's very hard to convince someone that this is the way that they need to go. So, in my opinion, I think that the West Coast over there, California, and a few other states, not to be mentioning any others, but the entire West Coast adopting that was not practical. We said it wouldn't be. We're not ready for it on many levels. But the one thing that Keith and I always said to you guys, and you can go back and listen to the podcast way back in 20, is probably episode 25, 30-ish, I bet, is when we really started diving in. And we'll find that, and we'll put a link to our very first EV topic. Keith and I said from the beginning, vehicles have a purpose, right? Things are purpose-built. And we're eclectic at our attitude towards modes of transportation, whether it be gas, hydrogen, compressed natural gas, whatever. We're agnostic when it comes to that.
Wait, no, we're not. I thought we were like the EV show.
No, not at all. Not at all. But what have we been saying?
But people that have heard like five seconds of one episode on a clip said that we were just all in on EVs.
The bottom line is we said that there's no way possible that they could coexist. And
no, that's not true. I know a guy that heard 15 seconds of one of our posts and then went on like the comment section and said we were just a bunch of EV fanboys.
Invite him on the show. I'm going to assume it's a him. I mean, what was the handle?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just. It's been more than one.
We'll find
I'm just
it and clip it out, and let's call him up. Let's call him out on it.
All right.
But no, so just to kind of, all I'm trying to do is really preface what we're going to be talking about today and segue into our first story. Keith and I are very observant of industry trends. We're very observant of what the industry is actually doing, how well it is doing financially. You look at patterns. Oh, I'm going to do that too, or me too. That happens a lot in this industry now rather than innovation. It's no different with your smartphone industry.
You know what's real innovation is we should put Microsoft Teams in a car for infotainment.
Yeah. That's
like
a game changer, man.
When you have run out of ideas to the point that you're trying crap like that instead of like making that I'm trying to exemplify your point
maybe
here, right? We've kind of lost
maybe
focus.
You need to go to the doctor in your car. Maybe you need to go to court in your car. All of those things are possible with Teams. So yeah. And what was the manufacturer that came out with that?
That I think that was Mercedes.
Oh, Benz. So really, that's clever.
Yeah.
Clever. Yeah. Okay. All right. Anyway, so let's proceed to navigate through what we now call EV aftermath. Okay? Who's the dead ones? Who's the ones still living? And I think that nobody is surprised in this room.
This is like gonna be your favorite segment ever. Like you've been waiting for this funeral.
I have.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting on my Lordstown pickup truck. The one that was first to market.
Yeah.
That had no issues whatsoever. It was basically a cannibalized something.
Auto evolution. There's been a lot of conversation around this in the past 30 days, but the blog Auto Evolution came out with an article that said the electric pickup truck was the automotive fail of the century. Now, that's a little extreme, I think. I mean, really, the biggest fail in the past 100 years is the electric truck. But
I don't think it is.
But I would say it is kind of a pretty big shoot, ready, aim situation.
Well,
right?
It is. But really, it's not, in my opinion. You told me this once. You cannot succeed without failing.
Oh, it's the best
Correct,
teacher.
Right?
Yeah.
So I feel that while there's been some failure here with the approach, and I feel solely on the human element here where somebody missed the marketing boat here, which is you don't tell people that this is what they're going to have to drive, right? You give people the option to buy, right?
Yeah. Well, and look, to some extent, the executive leadership in your organization, whether that's General Motors or Ford or Apple or Netflix or Disney or whoever, is brought into that role in no small part because of their experience. You would not if you wanted the company to survive, put somebody that's never been in a leadership position in charge of one of those organizations, right? Part of that is you got to have the experience. And with that experience comes the decision-making ability to say, hey, I don't have all the answers, but I have the experience to know that this is probably not the way to lay it out. Telling everyone that we have to do it this way is probably not a great play. And so
Optima Jim was correct once again.
Yep. Don't let your politicians decide. Let the innovation lead the way.
Here's a fine example of one that.
And yeah, I mean, also probably don't be a complete dirtbag.
Right.
Some of these guys that were caught cheating, stealing, lying, filming vehicles rolling downhill without engines in them, telling people that they had a working prototype. Right. This one in particular, Trevor
Right.
Milton.
And, it's funny that I was on the same thought process as you are right now on this, which is the common theme seems to be with most of these ones that failed right out of the chute or there shortly after or just never even made it to the market. They're all crooked. There's some backroom stuff going on that shouldn't be going on, and somebody,
Believe it or not, I blame Tesla for that. This is the model that I call, and I've referenced this before, the Kickstarter style, where you don't have a working you sell the car before it's built. Right? And this right here is exactly the danger in doing that. People dump money into a product, which is now, components from Lordstown a month and a half ago were on the auction block. They were selling off the factory because didn't have it was half baked, right? Like, I hate to be tough, but
yeah. I mean, when you're staging, you're absolutely staging these press conferences and caught red-handed in just about every single one of them, by the way.
Yeah. And I think the biggest issue with the trucks in particular is if you think about the application, as you would say, Jay, as people in the automotive industry would say, meaning what are you going to use it for, right? People don't buy trucks to go to the grocery store, to haul people around in Lyft or Uber, to go to the airport, whatever, right? Like, you buy a truck, that's a purpose-built vehicle. You want to haul a bunch of stuff. You want to tow something. You want to, camp. You want to go off-road, whatever, right? It's a different use case than a sedan, so you can't build them with the same technology, right? Like EVs by design are think about the very first ones, right? Small, tic-tacky little cars that were designed to get the best aerodynamic, like it was all about efficiency. You're putting a brick on batteries and hooking up a trailer to it and expecting the same results.
It's not going to happen. I mean, look, Rivian, who happened to be like the first successful full-size pickup truck that was all electric to the market, and every customer, from a customer satisfaction point, which we'll get into some of that in a little while, Rivian seemed to be, right there as far as them getting, taking care of their consumers. But the problem you have with Rivian, which is, they had what they put out the electric vans for Amazon, right? And I think that helped with some of the revenue flow into the development of the R1T, R1S. And, man, I got to tell you, I'm really bummed out that one hasn't really, caught on. And, I mean, even the Tesla, the Cybertruck, nobody wants them. They're overpriced.
I think, part of that was because that's a very different, to their credit, and I'm going to sound like a Tesla fanboy now for a minute, it's different, right? It's not your traditional use case for a truck, which is kind of what I just said needed to happen. I think what got them in trouble was shortly after the Cybertruck rolled out, which, by the way, took, 5-6 years from the time they announced it? Maybe a little less. But it was Elon's political, like love him or hate him, he stepped into politics, and that was a divisive, polarizing
and I'm
move.
Not real sure what the whole purpose of that was.
And there were people that loved him, and then, a month or two later, things changed, and then they hate him. It got dicey. Now, Jay, 175 podcasts in, I could make a joke here about, oops, I finally made a mistake. I'm not. I make mistakes all the time. But I just moved something around on you in the list, because I was like, oops, I forgot to put it up. It's a truck that here, I'll tease it. It's a truck from one of the big three truck manufacturers that was going to be electric and never made it to market, right? So you can probably already figure out who that is, who are the big three: Ford, GM, and and Stellantis.
100%.
Right?
But here's the thing: there's something there behind the scenes that you and I will talk about. I know we're on the same page with this one.
I just got giving you a heads up that I moved your cheese
That's
around
fine.
a little bit.
That's fine.
Sorry about that.
Right.
Sorry. I'll do better next time. At the 350th podcast, I will probably have had all this worked out.
And our fans just keep loving us because of the just how human we are, right? You know. So
I mean the Cybertruck. You know, like okay, so some of these are companies that had not really proven track record, and maybe the exception there is Rivian, who said we're going to start with a truck platform, and we're going to. But I think two things set them apart. Number one, what's his name? Their I can't think of his name right now, but their founder, CEO. Yeah, there you go. I just did it to you. RJ
Scaringe.
Yeah, close enough. So he's an engineering background. Yeah, right. Standing on your toilet, hanging a picture, slipped and fell, drew the flux capacitor. The rest is history, right? Yes. So to speak. So he, a lot of the success of Rivian is to his credit, but also they had a very specific focus. They were going after the overland crowd, the outdoor crowd. That was a purpose built.
100%.
Hey, we're an off-road truck.
100% agree.
And I would like to think that's part of the reason why they struggled less. They had their struggles, but they're in less jeopardy today.
Which is the reason, exactly, I agree with you on that. But the very reason why Volkswagen, however late to the table, decided to bring the Scout back with the Scout badge only in America under an EV platform. They're late to the game, and unfortunately, I hope the name carries that with them, but I think they may be needing to look into some ICE powertrains. I with those, just
change the codes on the reporting diags to positive outcomes, and nobody will know the difference.
And right? This is the thing.
Yeah, I
did. It's just so. I thought for sure, I'm with you, that Rivian would be the one because they came out of the chute pretty strong. They made mistakes, and they were very transparent about those things, which was very unlike their competition that was really basically trying to gain some ground. Ford found life with their hybrid F-150 that started kind of a movement for them, really, if you think about it. But the Lightning hasn't been that well received.
No, I mean, that's the thing. It's, you're kind of making a point here. It's 100% electric. And so couple thoughts on this. Number one, I think there's a couple players in the game that potentially they're late entries. I guess they just sort of came into the picture. The Scout, Terra being one of them, the Slate being another. Both of those potentially,
by the way,
could be because they're purpose built.
Exactly, agree with you. My son just ordered a Slate. Yep,
and I'm gonna when he gets it, I'm gonna play him the clip where you called it a Barbie car.
I'm gonna jump in that thing with him and take a ride. So we'll see what happens.
So, maybe and they got Bezos and some other big players behind them. I'm talking about the Slate. That could potentially be it. But again, it's a very specific. They're using older battery technology. It's a different concept of a truck for a different use case. And Ford, to your point, now looking at compacts for their EVs. I will say this. Kind of back to the F-150 Lightning. It's in the edit bay now. It's almost done. I got a review video that's coming out on our YouTube channel, and it's on an EcoFlow product. Now, this is the same manufacturer that did the fridge that we have the video out that I traveled the country coming to see you, and kept going on camera talking about how awesome it was and all that, right? So, EcoFlow makes a lot of power solutions, battery banks, solar panels. This thing that I reviewed, it's really great. So, like, you could basically use it as your house battery system for an RV. And in the video, I ran a microwave off of it. I had an electric George Foreman grill.
It's got the what do you call it? The inverter or whatever it is to.
Yeah, it's all built in.
Wow,
it's insane, man. It will run toe to toe. It will keep pace with a smaller gasoline generator. Wow. I went to a high school football game and set up in the parking lot and hooked up my Foreman grill and plugged it into this thing and grilled for like 20, 30 minutes. And when I got done, it had like 70% battery left. An electric grill, dude. An electric freaking grill. I ran an 1,800 watt microwave off of this thing with the convection of it. Awesome. Anyway, that sits in the back of my truck.
Yeah.
And I've got all the power I could ever need back there for any power tool for anything.
Yeah, anything. So there's ways.
I feel like that's the answer. Again, if somebody would have come and asked us, use it as an electric assist.
Yeah.
Okay. And that will reduce your emissions. If your goal, like in the case of California, was for a cleaner environment, that is a step in the right direction. You're not running on, as opposed to the like stop-start at stoplights that everybody hates. Do this. Let it get up to speed and then switch over to battery for the next mile and a half and shut the engine off. That's the solution.
I agree with you, Toyota. We're gonna throw some names of manufacturers out there today that actually got it right. For this particular thing, that didn't lose their ass in the process, right? That kept and stayed true to what they were trying to do, which is reach that zero emissions without having to be all electric, right? So, Toyota is the finest example of a manufacturer who just went all in on hybrids. And we said it. We could find multiple podcasts where we told you that if you want to win the battle on emissions, save gas, clean the environment, but still have that muscle when you need it, hybrid's the way to go. Now, Jeep took it even a step further. So it's hybrid, yes, but it's more of an e-assist. So it's and they marketed it well by calling it
the problem that they had is if you run electric only, you get like 20 miles in the first few models. Like that's not good enough. You got to go 100 miles.
And they're going to work on that, and they are working on that, my understanding. But yes, but their idea was not to like get rid of the advantages of an internal combustion engine, right? Now we do understand that you can get good torque, speed. We know this out of electric vehicles, right? We know this. It exists. That they're fast. They do everything. But it's the convenience of being able to understand the reliability that you have. You're not, a gasoline engine, you got a full tank. It's like setting your watch by the sunset, right? Every day, it's the same thing. You get the same results because you've driven it. The problems we have with the EV technology, it is so new for us that we are living and breathing gerbils, if you will, or hamsters being tested for this stuff.
It's a Kickstarter campaign. You're paying for somebody's
absolutely,
R&D.
100%. And it's left a bad taste in everyone's mouth.
Case in point, right here. If I can pull it up on screen, Consumer Reports put a bunch of data out that said electric trucks, and they did specifically call out the Rivian R1T, the F-150 Lightning, the GM versions, the Silverado and the Sierra, are some of the least reliable vehicles on the market today. I did not see a mention of the Cybertruck in here, which surprises me because I've seen lots of recall news on the Cybertruck.
I'm not even real.
Oh, there it is. My bad. Consumer Reports did not have enough data to rank the Cybertruck or the Hummer EV.
That's because they opened the box and closed it as quickly as they opened it. Honestly, they quit. It's out of production now, right? And they tried to keep it, to attract other buyers by going to the rear-wheel drive only. But with that, they reduced the price by about $10,000, but you lost all these other features. And so that was not attractive. So everybody had a bad taste about the Cybertruck. And so now if you own a Cybertruck, you're probably almost like a DeLorean owner, if you will. And I think you're in that category.
Well, okay. So let's take that.
Speaking of DeLorean, where the hell are they?
Yeah, well, the Alpha. Yeah, so we're all electric. Do you think, though, in 10 years, 15 years, that the Cybertruck will carry the same nostalgia?
I think so.
That I think Back to the Future, I just don't think there's any way you can replicate that magic.
No, I don't think you can, but I do think that the Cybertrucks amongst, a certain group will be it'll be a big deal. I think it will be. I think it will be. It's just one of those creatures. It's a creature, man. It's not just like the DeLorean. I mean, that thing, it's so iconic for a number of reasons, even before Back to the Future, right? And so,
yeah, even with underpowered engine, drivetrain, all that,
I think
still
the thing with I think the Cybertruck, had it come out and say,
when they said
yes, had it come out, let's say in the mid to late 90s, I think it would have done a lot better.
Mm.
And I say that because that was during the time when there was a lot of macho stuff going on, right? Now everybody views that as ridiculous. That's why it got booed by so many. And I mean, people just absolutely hate. It's obnoxious. I've heard some of these, people throwing out all of these nice names for what it actually is. But
so it is the electric version of the lifted truck nuts.
Correct.
But it's on the EV side.
For me, honestly, from a truck standpoint or SUV standpoint, I think the most impressive one that came out on the market, and this is just my opinion, I think it was very well thought out, very well done, and it too was purpose built.
The electric Bronco.
No. I'm going with the Hummer.
Okay.
I think that the Hummer EV, I think that it still has a purpose, and I believe that we will start seeing that thing in probably more of a military type environment rather than
Interesting. I would not have expected that.
I really do.
There's very little you can do to surprise me anymore, Jay, but this surprises me.
I just think that, again, it's purpose built, right? The whole objective when you're, in times of war, especially when it comes to ground war, the stealthier you are. And let's face it, the Ukrainians did the same thing with the electric motorcycles. Remember that? Remember the podcast?
Yep. Sneaking up with their rocket launch tubes strapped to their
there
back.
Was a
RPGs.
Ukrainian bike company that purpose-built these electric bikes that could have enough torque to carry the rider and a rocket on them, the weapon and all, which was like, I think they said, a total like up to 300 to 400 pounds or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds.
And they could get in and get out, no problem, right? So, again, purpose built. So when it comes to military and you're trying to gain edges, technology wins the battle every time. It's who has the best technology, and that's why the U.S. has such a great armed forces, is because we do invest a lot into technology, and it saves a lot of lives, and it can end wars very quickly. So
now this could be oddly. Kind of back to the whole CEO visionary leader making decisions from a place of experience. This could turn out to be a move of brilliance, where their current leader, who is relatively new to the helm, could point back to this and go, "Told you guys we were right." Is Ram not doing an electric pickup truck?
That they told, Tavares, told the world, we're not doing this electric stuff. You guys have no idea. But then they dove into this.
Well, they said it wasn't sustainable. They said they couldn't afford to do it. It wasn't, they weren't going to be profitable. I mean, all the things, right?
Correct.
So, let's little bit more background info on that. And this is I got this info from Electrek, which is one of the major blogging sites that covers all things electric.
They're a reliable source of good EV information. I've checked them out for a long time. So, let me try to put on screen here. If we end up using this as a clip, you guys will be able to see this. But so there you go.
Stellantis recently announced that it officially it's discontinuing development of the full-size Ram. So they're going to be, of the big three, the only one that doesn't have an electric pickup truck.
That doesn't mean that they won't be doing something electric. There's still...
And this is great, right? Like, they're going to do a Ram Charger, which is a range-extended electric vehicle. Weird. It's like it's weird.
Didn't we say, man, wouldn't it be cool?
I feel like it was just 5 minutes ago.
You know? Crystal balls.
Wow, it's weird, man. So they're going to focus more on using the technology that we have that works well today to augment things versus trying to push the limits of what's possible, because there are limitations right now with these electric vehicles and torque and not torque, but towing capacity,
range. In those
range.
Environments in which you do not have that problem. Well, you get your gas mileage does go down a little bit, but you still have it's very reliable. You know what gas mileage.
Yeah.
Predictable.
Yeah.
Predictable, very predictable. People do not like unpredictable.
Hey, weigh in on this comment. Okay. I just want to hear your opinion on this. This guy says, I'm not a conspiracy theory guy, but I kind of think there's been collusion between the big three to not sell a plug-in hybrid because that's the perfect drivetrain for such a full-size pickup truck. But it will cut into the huge profits that they're making in full-sized ICE pickups. What do you think?
I can see that. I can definitely see that being a good opinion or theory on something. I mean, they all work together. I mean, this is us being in the industry as long as we have, that. I mean, we have competitors, but they're colleagues in the industry. So everybody in the industry works together.
Sure, and example of that is sometimes you will partner to make a vehicle. You'll use one company's platform, and the other company will build the chassis, the body, right?
Subaru, Toyota, Ford, Mazda. I mean, it happens all the time, and it's a share of technology in some cases, and that's what they get out of it. But I do believe that there is some collusion amongst the big three because it is more profitable. I do believe to them, they would lose. I think they would all stand to lose some market share in that segment if they went electric and hybrid and all that. So I just don't think you're going to see that'd be very successful. Anyway, purpose built, man. Remember, I've been pounding my chest on purpose built vehicles. And again, let's go back to the Ford Maverick, right? Everybody was wondering, why is Ford coming out with a Maverick? That was a car, and they're going to call it a truck, and it's a front-wheel drive. It's not even a real truck. Well, actually, it is a real truck, and it just happens to come in a smaller size, and it's a purpose-built vehicle. And I said it would do really well in municipalities. And guess what? It happens to be one of the highest purchased fleet vehicles for municipalities. Go back to the show and check it out.
I told you. What did I tell you? Didn't I tell you? 'Cause I told you. And when did I tell you? A long time ago. And what did I say will happen when I told you? Exactly what just happened.
True. True.
All right. So how do we tell Nissan? How do we save Nissan?
Well, it's funny you asked that question, but I think they've answered it themselves. I dug into this, man, and I see what they're doing. And if you're going to approach something, this is the way to do it. So let's talk about it.
So let me get this straight, though. Like, because they've had a rocky past 5 years, at least. You feel like they are, that the steps that they are taking today are in a positive direction. You feel like they've turned, or they're looking to turn a corner. They're on that path?
I think so. And I think the way you have to do it is realize that, you start looking at things that you're doing and you have to either redefine it, or change something to make it impact not only your market but your bottom line. And for example, the dye, right, that they used in some of the materials for seats and stuff, to be protected against UV, right? Well, most of the glass out there today is UV protecting glass, so you really don't need this specific expensive dye. And so that's they start looking at it going, well, we don't even need this technology anymore because it's kind of ran its course.
So I might take the other side of this argument.
Let's go.
Like, so that which Carlos Ghosn, before he got imprisoned and escaped in a cello case, always used to talk about frugal engineering and the overbuilt, over-manufactured, kind of like built like a tank, if you will. Nissan was never a fan of that, right? So it was just good enough kind of model. But the problem that I think I have with that is you're conceding quality, and
I've got a theory behind that.
That seat's not going to last that long.
Theory behind that.
They got to cut somewhere.
But let's face it.
And
I've said,
okay, I think I know where you're going.
Yeah,
go ahead.
You're dealing with a different consumer now.
Yeah, you're not buying. If you're buying a Pathfinder or a Rogue or an Altima or whatever, you're not planning on keeping that thing for more than 7 or 8 years. Now, I would argue that if you buy a GTR, a Skyline, or maybe a Z car, you are buying those and maybe want to hold on to them for a longer period of time.
Of course. And just about every manufacturer has one of those, right? It's like, everybody wants a 69 Camaro, right? Or a
right.
68 Mustang, whatever, right? This just, those days are gone. Those types of consumers are gone, in my opinion. Certainly not the majority anymore, right?
So, Walmart model, focus on quantity, and to do that, you've got to make cuts in certain aspects. Okay, yeah. Now, from a long-term perspective, and I'm going back to what was the movie that I kept telling you to watch? Buy Now.
Yeah, I watched it. Yep.
It was on Netflix.
Yep.
Yeah. Where essentially everything, and Apple's been guilty of this, you're basically producing stuff with planned obsolescence,
100%.
right? Like you're building it to have to be replaced in 7 or 8 years. Well, that's not great for life on this planet.
No, it's not, but this is the course everyone's taking. And, the repair industry, for example, technology has basically push the repair industry to the limits, and it's an ongoing battle to try to keep up with it. That's why you see so many technicians that are defined by the manufacturer that they're working for, not necessarily the skills that they have, right? So back in the day, a guy that could work on a Ford Maverick could also work on a Chevrolet Bel Air, no problem. Same principle. Internal combustion engine. It has to be timed. It has to have air. It has to have fuel. All of that sort of stuff, right? Easy to work on. But now with modern day technology and all these proprietary platforms and things that everyone's trying to do to gain the advantage, it changes platforms. They're no longer in it for the whole. They're in it for themselves. So with that, changes the consumer as well. And so the mindset now is not an individual that's buying a vehicle for keeping it forever and driving it for 20 years. It's, just to get to work and back and forth and drive what I need. They'll bang it around. However, it's like that. People treat cars today like that scene with Tom Cruise, and it was the NASCAR movie he was in.
Yeah, Days of Thunder, which I've heard they're working on a sequel,
that'd be awesome,
by the way.
Right? But it's, remember the scene where they're racing the two rental cars?
It's Ford Taurus, I think.
Ford Taurus, right?
Yeah.
Another fine piece of technology. But yeah, I mean, that's how people treat cars these days. I mean, you've been out on the highway lately here, in the Nashville area, man. You know this, dude. This is like you're on your own out there, man.
Okay, so now, let me ask you this. So
can't cherish things anymore.
If this move right here, right? Nissan getting rid of its design teams in San Diego and Brazil, Sao Paulo, and scaling back the ones in Japan and the UK. Are they giving up? What does this do to them in a negative aspect? Getting rid of these design teams does what? How does that hurt the consumers?
Well, it's certainly going to put them in a box, right? So they're only going to expand on ideas only so much with a lesser degree of minds that are put into it, right? So having a lot of designers breeds a lot of ideas, of course, but if you don't have the capital to put those ideas to work, then what good is a bunch of design teams?
So they're also, and this is going to sound controversial, and it is controversial. We're factually reporting this. This isn't necessarily opinion. Lots of YouTubers out there that are bigger than us will go and tell you, and I hear this from my son all the time. Hey, I went to China. Jay's been to China many times. They are ahead of us in their R&D, especially on the more technologically advanced vehicles, the EV 100%. Platforms, etc. So Nissan is boosting the input from their Chinese design office in Shanghai because they're saying it has proven itself to be considerably more productive than its counterparts around the world. Sorry, everybody. Employees there churn out designs with a 30 to 40% reduction in hours compared with Nissan studios elsewhere in the world. So, good or bad, that they may be working them harder, whatever, but they're getting better results and they're getting more productivity out of their Chinese design teams. And there's been a lot of controversy lately, especially here in the United States, about how to solve that, slapping tariffs onto things as a weapon to try to punish people that aren't utilizing American talent. In the end, the companies are always going to have to do where they get the biggest return on their investment. They're going to go for the best bottom line, right? Whatever that is.
100%. And
especially in a global market, which we are definitely in this era. We're not just thinking about building. If Ford's not just focused on selling cars in the United States, Nissan is not just focused on selling cars in the United States. So, interesting move here. Any other thoughts, Jay? I mean, you've dealt with this in manufacturing.
I have, and I think that in my line of work, there are certain things that sell in certain areas geographically that don't sell in other areas. I mean, you have to look at the bigger picture. I think it's a wise move on their behalf to study that. I think you have to look at the numbers and see, okay, so if we're going to advance our technology in EVs, and we don't want to totally abandon it as a whole, but it just doesn't sell in the U.S., so we don't want to dive into it. They tend to do more hybrids in the U.S. than they do EVs, but China is blowing up like crazy with EVs. So, yes, I would say it's very smart on their behalf to utilize that area to focus on design because they're strong suited for a larger market, right? It may be at some point, who knows, maybe Nissan pulls completely out of North America and they only market to those segments. I mean, sometimes you got to fire your customer, man, to survive, and sometimes that's how it works. And we've seen it happen before. It's not out of the question.
I'm still looking for some dumb move somewhere. So what about this whole headrest thing? Like Nissan basically did the math there. I equate this. You know, I'm a big baseball fan, Jay. If anybody that's listened to this podcast for any amount of time, I frequently bring up baseball. I feel like this is a little bit of a Moneyball move. It's a Tony La Russa move. It's, hey, our spreadsheet guys did the math, and if we if we cut headrest out of cars, we can save almost $2 billion. It looks great on paper, but is it really smart? I'm so let me give you some context here to what I'm talking about. This is from Motor One. Nissan's new CEO, Ivan Espinosa, He wants to save 1.7 billion. He's got to cut 1.7 billion in costs, and he went to his teams and said, "How do we do that?" And somebody said, so they basically came back with around 4,000 cost-cutting ideas that were submitted to him, and of those 4,000, 1,600 were deemed to be possible. Like, we could realistically make these happen. Okay. Some of them were just straight up nuts, but one of the ones that jumped out was, let's get rid of headrests because we don't need them. They're not required in certain...
It's a nail in their coffin.
Really? Okay. Why?
Well, first of all, you're focusing on a piece of the bigger picture that really, in the long run, you're going to have to substitute the design going into that for something else that's really going to appeal to someone. So you're really trading dollars, in my opinion.
So the die, back to that one, that potentially...
That makes sense. Yeah.
Makes sense.
It's like going from corn syrup to just straight up cane sugar. Right? You're going actually in a better direction because it's better for you. It's what we used to do long before we decided to come up with this chemical for this dye so that the UV rays don't damage.
This looks desperate.
It does.
The headrest
That's
thing.
what I'm saying. There are certain things, and that's why I said that's a nail in the coffin move, right? To me. I feel
like
with you.
I feel like this is one of those that if you implement it, true or not, right? Perception can kill you. If people start talking to each other about, hey man, Nissan not putting headrests in cars anymore, you really want to buy one of those things? Like, they're in trouble. That public, like, that perception of you struggling and people thinking like, oh, well, if you're going to not put headrests in cars, what other corners are you going to cut, and how many of them are going to be safety related?
And that right there, in my opinion, that headrest not only serves a purpose for, I mean, it is what it is. It can help save you from breaking your neck in an accident. So I don't know what they're going to do. Are they going to make an entire composite style seat that has a built-in, like it's shaped to your body? And so instead of getting into a car seat, it feels like you're getting into the cockpit of something, like a racing machine. I don't know. Well, it'll be interesting to see if they do go through with this, how they redesign that into the mix, because I think that you are compromising some safety there. And let's face it, what's the seat going to look like? I mean, are you going to make it unique to each? Again, you're trading dollars, right?
It's going to be different, and people are going to talk about it. It best not be ugly. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a Cybertruck situation.
Just
right?
When you think you're saving money and people look at it and go, what the hell were you thinking? You know? Why would you do that? And then, oh, oops. Okay, I'll give you real-world example of how that works, right? Hey, man, we're Cracker Barrel. We just hired a new CEO and marketing director. We're changing our logo because we don't want to be the old Cracker Barrel anymore. We want to be the new Cracker Barrel.
Well, it turns out that most of their customer base wants the old Cracker Barrel. Yeah, this is not a political statement at all. you have to know your consumer base. Okay. I have been around long enough to remember, I won't name them specifically, but we all followed it. There were some country musical artists, a couple decades ago that made some very controversial statements that were basically against the majority of their fan base. They were political statements. You remember this? And everybody was like, what the hell? And they were like, we're just going to do what we want. Right. But your customers are all people that disagree with you. Not 100%,
Correct.
but a lot of them. And so then you have to wonder, like, well, should you be in this industry, right? Like, you may not be in the right line of work here. And again, not a political statement. Same thing with Cracker Barrel. Like, if most of your demographic perceives things a certain way and you go against that, it's probably going to be dangerous for you.
Absolutely. And, they had to right the ship. And of course, she's no longer with the organization, and they're going to
by the way, it gets
sell TV dinners.
And and you're going to be remembered as the person that brought that chaos on, and it's going to be tough for you to find employment elsewhere. That's back to the experience that a CEO brings.
Know your customers.
I've never been a CEO. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I'm going to make this sound like I have it all figured out. I don't. But one thing I do know is you don't go in on day one, month one, even maybe year one, and just start rocking the boat and implementing massive amounts of change. Right. That's dicey. And I understand you're trying to prove to the world how great you are and you're, going to make this, but change is a very, very tricky minefield to navigate.
Be a killer. It can be a killer. So I wish Nissan well, man. I don't know how much they would have to cut to, and again, it's all about what they have as capital to work with. Where do they stand financially right now? That's the thing. And it's obvious that they don't stand very well financially because they wouldn't be cutting the fat like they're cutting the fat. So,
I mean, they're going to have to get creative, right? What are the incentives?
This could be their Hail Mary, man.
Okay.
This could very well be their Hail Mary because this smells like image change on so many levels. And it could be their Hail Mary. And if they do have the right marketing group in there and can come up with some real innovative ideas from the ashes.
I think that innovative is going to be the key, right? You're going to have to find, even if it's a break-even innovation, right? Like giving away one thing to get another. If that helps you grow in brand recognition over the course of a 5-year goal, and you're breaking even in year one, even year 1.5, it might be worth it, right? Companies that, I mean, I don't know I don't know what you have to do. Like when Tesla kind of got started, they were giving away a certain amount of free charging. Remember that? And they had to eventually discontinue that because it was a loss leader. They were losing money on it. What's Nissan's version of that? I mean, you can't just give away free Netflix for a year, but what's your, maybe it is mobile data in a vehicle for 3 years, 4 years, whatever.
Who knows?
Free car washes?
Maybe, who knows?
You know what? There's a place up by me that does this. Like I've seen, the vacuums are free. You go in and, you can vacuum your car for free. It's just the car wash that, there's a barber shop.
That's funny.
I always joke about this when I see it, when I drive past it. It's called Cuts and Blessings. Okay. In my head, this isn't true, but in my head, I always go, haircuts are free. The blessings cost $50.
That's funny. Yes.
Right.
That's funny.
So, I don't know, but whatever it is, they've got to figure it out pretty soon here, pretty quickly. Now, back to this vacuum thing. You found a disgustingly disturbing.
I told,
What made you feel like we need to okay, set this up, Jay?
So
set it up.
In an ongoing effort to bring you guys some of the latest and greatest information available on the interweb, I just decided to type in weird facts about the automotive industry as a whole, right? Weird facts. And, you know, if you guys have been a longtime fan, you're with us early on where we would, you know, stupid car names or stupid car ornaments or, you know, silly pet tricks. Oh, no, that wasn't us. That was somebody else, some other talk show.
I oddly have a weird facts theme.
I like it.
Just sitting on my soundboard.
I like it.
So yeah, car facts.
Yeah.
Not the car.
Yeah.
Oops. Not the car data report.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
Factual information.
So facts. Factual information. Yeah.
Okay.
So, in that effort, the first thing that popped up, I found it very interesting because please tell me that I have many times. I go to car washes, automated car washes, and a lot of times you'll get a free vacuum with it. And they'll have an area where you can pull off to and just vacuum and pull your trash out and do all that sort of stuff. Well, just remember, you're not the only one doing that in the course of a day. So, fun fact, nice fact about the automotive industry, nice fact about public car vacuums. According to a lab study commissioned by Panda Hub, self-serve vacuums, which are the kind you typically find at car wash facilities or gas stations, etc., they're loaded with all kind of bacteria, and some of it is basically very dangerous for your health, man. So the list includes fecal matter. If you're unsure what that means, guys, the Cambridge Advanced Learners Dictionary defines it as solid waste passed out of the body of a human or animal through the bowels. Poop. You said it. You hit the head of the nail. You hit the head of the poop. But that's basically what that is. And here is some of the key findings from that study. Every single swab vacuum that they tested had a higher than average amount of microbes that can cause illnesses, sickness.
I mean, not surprised. Like, I would bet you those vacuums are like they empty out the canister.
Yeah.
But the hoses, they're never.
No, they're
cleaned.
not. Well,
Like
that's
ever.
why I keep gloves in I keep a box of gloves in for that reason. Whenever I'm handling public stuff, man. But I just don't even want this stuff touching my car now. I'm just going to go buy a vacuum and do it myself, right?
And speaking from experience here, as a person married to a person that would occasionally clean their car every few years, I remember, like, I will never forget this. We had a Mini Cooper Countryman. It was a fun little car, okay? And Side Shot was 2, 3, 4 years old around that time. When we traded that car in or sold it, whatever we did, I think it was that one. It might have been a Nissan Juke. We also had a Nissan all-wheel drive Juke. I spent just on the interior cleanup, vacuuming, scrubbing the carpets. I think I spent 3 or 4 hours. There was dried puke in the floor. There was kid puke. There was like food that was so far up under the seats.
McDonald's sauce. Yeah.
It was, and I remember at times being in that car and going, man, how can you stand the smell in here? And I would consider that to be fairly average, meaning that there's a pretty decent percentage of people that treat their cars like that.
Yes.
And, you know, so if you're touching whatever's in that, like, and here's the list, right? Listeria, E. coli, mixed coliforms. I don't even know what that is. Staphylococcus. That's staph.
Yeah.
And Pseudomonas. I feel like I can say acetaminophen.
Trust me,
but,
man. The grammar police are going to get on you here, so we'll wait for that one. But Pseudomonas.
Several vacuums had high amounts of E. coli, indicating a presence of fecal matter, as you previously mentioned. This is so gross.
This is crazy. Did you see this? It says how much fecal matter, you ask? According to the report, the swab from most contaminated vacuums that were tested contain more fecal matter than most toilet seats. Oh, my God, man. Oh, I bet there's some DNA on those back seats, too.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, man.
Here you go. When you consider what's likely on the bottom of the shoes you wear and that those shoes are regularly grinding their soles in your car's carpet, the results aren't actually that surprising, but still gross. Yeah. And that's why the all-weather rubber floor mats are so great. You just basically take them outside and sanitize them. And
oh, my God, man. This is just crazy, dude. So
58% of the people surveyed, now I don't know how they surveyed them, but 58, almost 60%, so we're getting close to 2/3, use those public vacuums here in the United States.
That's crazy. Yeah, 32% of respondents said that they would use self-serve car vacuums daily or on a weekly basis. So this would amount to over 67 million Americans.
And you know what? I've done it. Like if you have a situation where there's bad spill or there's something that's so gross I don't want to use my home vacuum, I would go use one of these.
Wow.
You know, I've done it in the past.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there's your automotive industry car fact of the day.
Good, nicely done, Jay. Thank you for that. I will never forget our first segment here.
Right? Oh man. Well, I'm just trying my best to keep America healthy, man. So that's my quest.
I mean, why stop there? Go for
it's
the rest of the world.
Dude. It's humanity. There's still some humanity in this world, isn't there? There's proofs of that out there, isn't there, Keith?
Yeah. I feel like that's probably where we need to end it and hang our hats and close the door on this one. So just when I think there's no hope for us because we're, somehow pooping in the back seats of our automobiles or whatever's going on there. And then I see a story like this and that faith in humanity is somewhat restored. So what are we talking about here? Well, Jay, have you ever seen these little, I know you used to walk outside a lot more than, I don't know if you still do that as much or not, but these little libraries that are free, little book, they look like big birdhouses.
Yeah, really cool idea, especially amongst the people who love to read a good novel and escape or
and it's free, right?
It's like joining
it's kind of put a book in, take a book,
it's
right?
like being in a book club, man. You take one, you put one, you replace it, right? You're right. It's a fun thing to do. I love it.
Now, I would, of course, because I'm me. Hold on.
Uh-oh. Where's he going?
If I
Well, there's an example of what the new Nissan chairs are going to look, seats are going to look like.
Oh, my race chair? Yeah. So, because I'm me, I'm putting stuff in there. And by the way, you can find this on Amazon. Use our link. The People of Walmart adult coloring book. I'm putting stuff like that in the little take a book, give a book, just to mess with people, right?
I love it. Why not? It's material. It's reading material.
Spice it up a little bit. You never know, right? Just throw people.
Here's the ones
off.
I like too, though. There's there are people that will put pet food in there too. So you'll have say all these publicly funded, not publicly funded, privately funded. Say cat shelters and stuff like that, or dog shelters.
Oh yeah,
well,
right.
Those are the ones that I really like. People making those donations and stuff. So it carries over. It can carry over into anything, right?
Including this one that we have for the story today, which is, and I found this on The Drive, which is automotive focused. It's weird, Jay. Other people besides us can not just talk about car parts and cars. They get into pop culture and Hot Wheels.
Man. Hot Wheels, I love it.
So The Drive has a story here where this guy built a Hot Wheels lending library, and you can see the picture here if you're looking at the segment. just like one of those little book libraries. I guess maybe it started with the leave a penny, take a penny concept, right? So Dad built this thing out in the front yard, and they filled it up with cars. And you want to swap out your car collection? Maybe you bring one, you put it in there, and you find one you don't have that you love, and you take it. And you take it for a test drive for a few weeks, and then maybe you bring it back and you
swap it out,
change it out for another.
I think
one.
it's a cool idea, and I think it would be fun, man. You know, I don't know how many of you out there are this way, but with Hard Rock Cafe pins, you know, they have same thing. The trading of those are really killer too, you know, and so you could take a pin in to Hard Rock Cafe merchandise stores, and they have books under the counter where you can trade. I don't know if you knew that or not, but it's similar concept here, guys.
So this concept, by the way, started with the Little Free Library that apparently has been around since 2009, and 15 years later, somebody Hot Wheelized it. This guy's in Nova Scotia in Canada, and you know, to be fair, and they're saying this in the article, I got a few Hot Wheels. I got a DeLorean. I got a Batmobile. I got some. I got the Magnum PI car. I got the Miami Vice Ferrari Testarossa. Like, I got a few.
Well, I bet you won't find those in this thing, but maybe you.
Well,
maybe
no,
you will.
those are. Yeah, I got a FJ Cruiser.
That's funny.
So yeah, I mean, this is cool, man. Like, go leave things better than you found them. I just feel like this is a great example of that. So
I think in these times right now, Keith. Again, it just, you know, I know this is up in Nova Scotia, but maybe we can pass this vibe on to people out there, our listeners, to start something like this. So I challenge.
I would do it, man.
I'm going to say this. I would challenge everyone out there that's listening or watching, whatever you might be. We'll put some clips out there. Comment, man. I challenge each and every one of you to do something like this and get creative, like with Matchbox cars, or maybe it's, you know, maybe maybe you like to get into Barbies or something. Maybe there's Barbie dolls out there.
I would totally do this. I would probably put it in somebody else's. Like, I would put it like public library or at a park, or, you know, with permission, because, you know, I just can't get past the whole
Get off my lawn.
Oh, sorry, you're just here for the Hot Wheels. Help yourself, you know.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, that would be funny though if you did have like a speaker that was mounted to the thing and then went,
hooked up when you open the door.
You pull the old Clint. Hell yeah, that would be funny.
Yeah, I mean, you would, you know, I would want to probably seal it so it was rainproof, and, you know, put a door on it,
like they've done here. Looks good. I like it. It's a great story, man. It's a feel good story, and it's again. Matchbox Cars has probably touched just about every generation that's listening to this right now.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Hey, can you believe that we've been doing this almost 8 years?
In some ways, no. In some ways, yes. You know, earlier in this episode, I had a hard time really believing that, you know, the mandates of going all electric were that long ago. It just feels like it was a year or two back. And then, you know, I look at the number in 175 and I go, yeah, you know, we've got this dialed in, and that part doesn't surprise me. I know that we've been around this show enough that, but, you know, yeah, it's hard to, you know, in some ways it's like a touring band. You know, you're like, wow, we've done that many shows. You know, the cities do kind of all start to run together. I don't remember. There's things that I go back and look at and I'm like, yeah, I'd completely forgotten that we talked about that. And then there's things that I will never forget, like poop on vacuums.
Right. Oh, God. Oh, my God, man.
What about you? Like, how do you feel 175 episodes into a podcast that you probably weren't even sure you wanted to get into in the beginning?
Well, I think you and I are a lot alike in this respect, is that everything we set out to do, we learn from it, right? That's the biggest thing that I've gotten out of this is what I've been able to not to take what I've learned from podcasting and doing my homework and trying to what Keith and I go through to bring you guys a show. It's dedication, right? And it's selfless dedication. This is we do it because we enjoy doing it and we have fun bringing you guys information. But I've taken what I've learned from this show, the 175 episodes, and I use it in my career. Also, my everyday job, my everyday conversations that I have. It's helped me to become a better listener. It's helped me to, before I say something, think about what I'm about to say, because those things that you say sometimes can have, irreversible effects. So you have to be careful. So it's made me become more of a genuine thinker, I think, more so than anything, and it's taught me a lot of discipline in that respect. So I apply what you and I do in everyday conversations to my conversations that I might have with a CEO or a CFO. Say we're sitting in a meeting somewhere, right, and the conversation is going in a direction, but I have a way to segue into something to kind of save the guy, right, save the day,
right.
And that's something that you and I have learned through these processes of trying to understand where one is struggling and bail them out, right,
Speaking of stepping in shit, I read this article about automotive vacuum cleaners.
Right, exactly. So, but yeah, I mean, that's where I stand with this, being this far into it, and it's been a lot of fun, and it's I still get the occasional, hey, you got that podcast? And, you still podcasting or whatever, and or I just bring it up in conversation, like, oh, really, you have a podcast? Yeah, and you and I say it so casually, or we just don't say it. But it's just something we do because we love doing it.
Yeah. I've resolved to not, like, if you like it, you like it. And if you don't, fuck you. I mean,
right.
You should subscribe.
Right. So,
no, I'm not going to make you try to listen thank you if you do.
Right. Here's how I'll tell you exactly.
I was kidding on the other part.
No, funny, man. But and they know we're joking. But with you, man, it's like this is how we think, right? You're like, well, I need to get more exercise on my bike, and what a better way to get exercise? Tell them.
Oh yeah, so feeling like a little bit of a fat ass the past 6 months or so. By my own design, like I've been, making some questionable dietary choices, lots of ice cream and other unhealthy stuff, and so I've been a runner most of my whole life. I've done triathlons. Swimming I've done it. I'm not as good at it. I can do it. Bicycles are a little less impact, I guess. I always worry about that on the knees. Like I always try to take a month or two off and go do something else. But it can be a grind. It's like, well, I got to go ride for an hour. I got to go ride for an hour and a half. And it gets boring. And where am I going to go? Am I going to go do the same loop that I've done 100 times? And so, again, side shot coming in, going, hey man, did you know that that companies like Uber and DoorDash will let you do bike delivery for food? And I went, really? And he's like, yeah. They have a setting in the app for bicycles, so they don't send you 30 miles to deliver McDonald's or whatever. And I was just started it with him because it was like, let's just go do this for fun. And I was like, okay. And we've done it in a golf car.
It's great, man.
But I just will go out on my bicycle for an hour and a half. And literally some of these, it's like, it's a dash, like get there quickly, and it's a game. It's a mental game. So I'll just go out and ride. Got the little food box that I throw the food in the back. I'm on my e-bike. I don't set it on the highest level of assist. I put it on like medium because you still get the workout in. Feel better. It's kind of fun. You meet interesting people. You can sometimes make a positive impact on I'm gonna end up crying. I did one, like, you remember some of them. I went to did a McDonald's delivery and went into an area that was like a public housing, and in different neighborhoods, if it's a higher risk of getting stolen, like, they'll make you do things like the buyer has to give you a unique code that you then type into the app that before you give it to them, right? And so did one of these, and you could tell the family didn't have a lot of money. Again, if I get through this without like tearing up, and I had to get the code. I couldn't just leave it at the door and take a picture because it was a higher risk of getting stolen. Little girl comes to the door. She's probably 8, 9 years old. No English, just a little English, right? I was trying to get the code, and mom had just ordered this. It was like a treat. It was a Friday night. Got her daughter McDonald's. It was exciting. The girl was happy. The girl handed me $1,
wow.
like, as a tip.
Wow.
I was like, that was her big, like, mom was trying to teach her.
It's a teaching moment. Yes, absolutely.
Here we go. It's the waterworks, man. But you see that sort of stuff happen, and your faith in humanity is
I think
restored.
that's the storyline, right?
And I got a workout in.
Yeah. Right.
Right. So, it's fun. It's different. It changes things up. It gives me something mentally to focus on.
And again, if you have one moment like that occur, it restores something within you, right? It's like, okay, you feel good about it. It's like, okay, we do have real humans still out here, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a very heavy way to look at things these days when you start questioning humanity. But I think we have to stop and smell the roses and just be kind to each other, man. Just be kind to each other. Well,
and, so that I don't leave you guys on a depressing downer, there was also the time where I went to the wrong apartment. It was like it was a duplex. There was like 2 doors next to each other, and I couldn't see the house number, and it was dark, and this lady came to the door in a towel.
Yeah, baby. That's right. Yeah.
It was awkward, but later it was like, so there's that. Baby. And I have it on video.
Oh, nice.
If you ever want to. Yeah, I always leave the camera on my bike. I have a GoPro because
you never know what you never
safety.
Know what you're gonna run into.
You never know.
True. Yeah, good for you, man. Good on you, and good for helping the public. And
look at that! I completely took like a tender moment of,
completely
humanity and turned it around to some sort of creepy.
It's almost your Monty Python moment, and now for something completely different. Right?
All right,
brother. Good times. Good show. Good talk.
For those of you that have made it this far, especially more on this one than the previous ones, thank you for sticking it out. Thank you for making us a part of your lives, and for listening. And definitely tell a friend. If you don't know about us on the video side, go check us out on YouTube. It's youtube.com/partscountergurus, or just go to our website, partscountergurus.com, and all the links are there, including all the brand partner stuff where you can support the show. There's many, many ways that you can do it that don't cost you anything. And we're gonna keep doing this, Jay. Looking forward to 350th episode.
50.
Yeah. You think we'll make it?
I might be worm food by then. I don't know.
Well, 200's right around the corner. We'll do something special for that one.
So we'll see what happens. But yes, 200 coming around the corner. Yes, and speaking of many ways to contact us, just go right to our website, partscounterguru.com, and everything you need right there. Everything.
All right, so that's it for episode 175. Until the next one, in the words of Dolly Parton from the album Rockstar, don't you ever give up on your dreams, no matter how far-fetched they seem.
Very good.
For my pal Jay over there, because I don't know which way this is going to end up pointing, I'm Keith. Thank you, guys. We'll see you on the next one.